Welcome to Awaken to Yourself podcast, where we dive deep into self discovery, healing, and the limitless potential of the human spirit. Today's episode is for anyone who has ever faced the pain of heartbreak and wondered, where do I go from here? Sometimes the best way to heal isn't by staying in the same place, but by stepping into the unknown. Travel has a way of breaking us open, offering new perspectives, and reconnecting us with parts of ourselves we thought were lost. In this episode, we explore how wandering the world can be a powerful tool for healing relationship grief. Join me as we uncover the magic of movement, the wisdom of the journey, and how embracing the adventure of travel can guide us back home to ourselves. Karen, I'm so excited to have you here today.
Yes, thank you for inviting me.
Yes, of course. So I want to start by giving a little introduction. Um, you are my friend of 3 years now, but I do want to give a formal introduction because I feel like, the people that are watching that maybe are on a similar path could connect with you and relate to some of the things that you are currently doing and you've done in the past. So, this is Ana Karen Morales, newly Morales, because she just got married not too long ago. Can I say that?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Karen is a dual language preschool business owner. Currently has 2 sites in the Tri Cities. She's also a world traveler who I've traveled with many times, who loves culture and has a passion for early learning education. Another way that her and I connected was through education because we're both, in education and we both work
Right.
with kids and all of that. So now she has 9 years of experience and she's gained much wisdom and knowledge through her world travels. Um, and also is forever a learner and a student of life. So,
That is correct.
welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Was that a good enough
Yeah.
introduction? Okay, awesome. Okay, so I want to start by talking about how you and I first
Matt.
met.
Okay.
It's interesting because recently Karen actually sent me a text message saying happy friend anniversary because we were able to figure out that this last February, 3 years ago, is when we first met.
Matt. And a Galentine's.
Yes, and we met through a Galentine's. And do you want me to tell the story?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So we met through a Galentine's celebration. So, like a Valentine's celebration, but it was just all ladies that were getting together and connecting and celebrating. I think most of us were single. I want to say the
Yes,
majority
I
of
was
us were
single there too.
yeah, so the majority of us were single.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting because I think I was instantly drawn to you because of just your very bubbly personality and you're very welcoming, easy I think to connect with and get along with. So one of the things that I heard you say at the Galentine's was that you were newly single,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm actually newly divorced as well, or I just left a relationship, marriage of 10 years, and I think that was the automatic spark.
Right.
Like what I was like,
Yeah, because we were going through
yeah,
the
we were
same.
going through a
Mm-hmm.
grieving. We were both essentially grieving,
Right.
right? A relationship. And then we got into the topic of travel.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I feel that was the moment that I was like, she might actually be my person, like my travel partner. So I mentioned that I wanted to solo travel through Europe.
Right.
I said one of my aspirations, especially after my divorce, and part of my healing journey was to travel through Europe.
Mm-hmm.
It's been a long time, desire of mine. And so I've traveled alone before, and so
Right.
I mentioned to Karen, I said, "Yeah, like I'm gonna do it alone." And she's like, "You're gonna do it alone?" And I'm like, "Yeah." She's like, "Well, I want to go to Europe," and I'm like, "Let's go to Europe together." But think of how many times you say that to people, even like people that you connect with online, that you say, "Hey, let's get together."
And you don't really
Like,
do
do
it.
you ever get together?
No.
Or
No.
even like in la tienda when you're in the store and you're like, hey, I haven't seen you in a long time. Let's get
Let's hang
together. I
out,
guess
yeah.
una carne asada, blah, blah. And then it like never happens.
Right.
But there is something so special about that initial connection. It's like I knew it was
Right.
going to happen. And right away you were like, no, like, let's do it. And I'm like, okay, let's go to Europe.
And it happened so fast because
Yeah.
it was in February where we met, and then
3
we
years ago,
traveled,
yeah.
and we traveled in July
That's right.
that same year.
Yeah.
So we start planning it
Uh-huh.
right away.
Yeah.
Because I was like, for sure we're going.
You're gun-ho about it.
I'm like, I want to go. And then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, let's plan
Yeah.
it. And we start texting.
Yeah.
And we planned it. And we just
Yeah, so
went.
this was February. And then I remember at one point, this was early spring, your birthday. Because this was, I feel like, where we really emotionally connected.
Yeah, it was like,
Like at a deeper level. Your birthday was coming up and you were having a birthday dinner. And you said, hey, you should come to my birthday dinner. And I think I feel really special because I was like, oh, I just met her and she's already like including me in her, like her circle of friends. And so I was like, clearly, like, there's something here,
Right.
It was like the beginning of a friendship. And so we had dinner. We had your birthday celebration. We definitely did it up. We went a little crazy. But I remember that night I was like, man, she's down. Like, she's so fun. Without mentioning all the details of that night. But I just remember thinking, like, she's so down to earth.
Yeah.
Aside from us connecting about our future travel plans, I was like, she's really a down to earth person. Not only is she easy to get along with, but she's humble and she's just full of life and laughter and joy. And I was really drawn to you because of that. And because I could be silly and laugh and tell jokes, and you just like got me, you
Right.
didn't take life too seriously.
No.
Yeah,
not at all.
that really attracted me. That I was drawn to you because of that, and we were both grieving.
Yes. We were
Yeah.
both in that same
Yeah.
path of like,
Yeah.
trying to let go and try to heal
Yeah.
mostly.
Do you want to talk a little bit about that in your journey and what you were experiencing in that moment of, like, trying to surrender and going through the grief of letting go a long-term relationship?
I feel like everybody has their different ways to cope with things.
Yeah.
And for me was always kind of like run away, in some way.
Okay.
Some way I want to escape from the pain, want to escape from what was going through.
Yeah.
And being in the same town where your ex-partner is, it was kind of like, I need to get out of here. I need to get out of here somewhere. I need to get out. And I always had a passion of traveling, because of my past. Like, I always travel since I was like 23. I started like actually, traveling. Yeah. And I was like, I need to get out. I need to get out. But my way to get out is like very far away. It's not like I'm going to Vegas and get crazy and then come back to town.
Yeah.
No, my way
going
is
to
like,
Seattle for the weekend.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, my way of running away or kind of like going away,
escaping.
It's very miles away.
And see, that's what I love about you, because I feel like you and we have this connection because I feel like we can be very extreme. I feel like you and I are like, let's run away, but let's run away to the other side of the world.
Exactly. It's not like, okay, I'm going to go to,
let's really venture out.
Right.
And let's really put ourselves in these situations, in these environments that are completely new to us, but that's going to really challenge our character.
Yes.
And that's what I loved about you, is that you were so down. Like, I feel like I'm a very adventurous person and I'm a really down-to-earth person and I'm really open and spontaneous, but I felt like you were that too. And I'm like, finding someone else like you that was also grieving a long-term relationship and trying to find yourself through that, I was like, that's my girl.
Right.
And you were so open to actually traveling
Yes.
overseas,
Yeah, and also, I come from a family that it was very protective. My parents were very, very protective. My dad was extremely protective. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Hispanic parents can be like that, where they
Mm-hmm.
don't let you do a lot.
Yeah.
You know, they they constantly say no, no hagas esto, don't do that because it's
Yeah.
too dangerous. If something happens, so they kind of like put you this idea that
Mm-hmm.
you can't do that because
Mm-hmm.
something's always gonna happen.
Yeah. This
And
fear.
this fear, and
Mm-hmm.
they create this fear and this anxiety
Mm-hmm.
inside of you. I didn't know how to take it away
Mm-hmm.
until I started to break through that,
Mm-hmm.
break through that belief,
Yeah.
of like, no, I'm not allowed to trouble the world
Yeah.
because something's gonna happen to
Yeah.
me, or I am a woman and I cannot be traveling alone because I have to have someone help, like taking care of me all
Yeah.
the time. So I had to like really go
Mm-hmm.
break through that, through those beliefs.
Beliefs.
They
Yeah.
were not mine, they were just implanted in me.
Mm-hmm.
And I I always wanted to be very independent. I always wanted to be very, very like strong emotionally, and I'm like, how can I do that?
Yeah.
How can I really do be that person I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
And that's what traveling come from, Traveling has opened doors and have break those ideas that I had,
Wow.
you know
Yeah. I love that.
ideas, and I became more independent, that I don't really need
Yeah.
someone. I start googling things, the map, the okay, we're gonna do this, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna book this, I'm gonna see the map, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there. I start like researching, this is what you need to do if you want to travel to Italy, if you want to travel to
Mm-hmm.
Greece, if you want to travel to you know, I don't know, other places, Italy,
Yeah.
Spain. And I had to kind of like be my own
Your own guide.
safe person, my own. Yeah. And I'm like,
Yeah.
this it's so beautiful that you can be your own safe person. You
I
don't need
love that.
anybody else. You
Yeah.
just need yourself, and have
Mm-hmm.
that confidence of that you are going to do a great job of protecting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need someone to complete you. You can
Mm-hmm.
be whole, you can be complete by
Mm-hmm.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what traveling has done for me. It
Mm-hmm.
has done all those areas for me, because I was alone so many times.
Mm-hmm.
We were stuck in things, in
Yeah.
very hard
Yeah.
situations, that I was like, I don't need mom and my dad right now. Like, I need to resolve this problem right now
Yeah.
by myself.
Yeah.
And that was a way for me to build my character,
I love that.
build my strong character of like, this is it.
Mm-hmm.
This is real life,
Yeah.
And oh, it opened a very wide perspective of life, not just stuck in one idea that it's just here home,
Mm-hmm.
and you're set one way, you have your calendar, you have your routine, Monday to Friday, do this and this
Mm-hmm.
and that. And I'm like, I want to experience more things. I
Yeah.
want to be able to experience new things. I want to drink a coffee in Italy, I want to drink a coffee in Paris, and I want to feel free, that I can be, stuck with the schedule all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. I definitely, when I hear you talk about, building character and building like a wider lens, in perspective of cultures, people, lifestyles, that
Right.
there's another way of living.
Exactly.
I think sometimes, and it doesn't have to it doesn't mean that you have to travel as far as we've traveled overseas, but at least open your mind to a new way of living and a new culture by
Right.
traveling outside of your hometown,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I think that's travel has really been a tool of healing for me, just
Right.
like you, that I was able to, after my divorce, I was able to say, like, because I did travel in my previous marriage and with my previous partner, And he taught me a lot, and,
Right.
and with that, in that experience that we shared together, that common interest. And I think I shared this with you plenty of times where I broke down and I cried a lot of the
Mm.
times. Our first trip to Europe that we did, because now we've traveled to Europe multiple times and we've traveled to Asia. We traveled to Asia last year. We went to Thailand and
To
Vietnam.
Vietnam.
And I stayed in Vietnam by myself.
Mm-hmm.
So I did a solo, I had a solo experience in Vietnam. That was something that I desired to do. But post my divorce, I remember thinking, you get to this place of like really vulnerable,
Right.
and you're like, wow, who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I without that person?
Yeah.
Like, this is a real human experience where you're going through, essentially it is a
Right.
loss. The person hasn't transcended and left physical reality, but that person isn't part of your reality
Mm-mm.
anymore, isn't part of
You're
your
like kind of
life.
like this attachment.
Yeah, and you're
You go
having
through that this attachment
exactly.
process that it's very
Exactly.
painful.
You're having to detach yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and for so long your identity was part of
Mm-hmm.
this person.
Right.
And through that I was able to find myself, and like you
Right.
said, I love that you said I was able to give myself that safety,
Right.
and say, hey, I can do this on my own.
Right.
I can give myself those experiences that I had with my ex-partner, but I can give those things because
To
all
me.
those things come within
Yeah.
myself. And travel really taught me that, is that I am my greatest love. I am my best friend. I am my protector, you know, and I am my provider.
Right.
And I think we were put in a lot of situations. I mean, our first trip to Europe, we traveled to 7 countries in 2 weeks.
Almost 3 weeks. Yeah.
Almost 3 weeks actually. It was close to 3 weeks. 7 countries.
Yeah.
7 countries. So, and we were put in some situations, you guys, that it brought us to our knees. Like,
Yeah.
there were moments that we didn't know if
We're
I
gonna
mean,
come back to
we
United
were never
States.
luckily we were never like we were never assaulted or anything like that. Like, it wasn't anything extreme where but there were times when we felt like we weren't necessarily safe, you know?
Right. And I feel like that's when you become stronger and
Mhm.
your personality starts shaping
Yeah.
because you put you are in a very harsh moments
Yeah.
and you have to go through them.
Mhm.
You don't have another choice. And plus traveling for me, I mean, you can do it here by not traveling like you said,
Yeah.
right? But other people's, we learn differently,
Mhm.
and if you have a safe job Monday to Friday, and then you have your good money and everything, how can
Comfort.
you how can you you know
Mhm.
build your character when you're in a safe area,
I
when
love
it's
that.
safe zone? You cannot do that. You're so comfortable with your life that you are just stuck in a box, and but traveling for me has opened so much stuff,
Mhm.
it has humbled me too,
Mhm.
to know how people live, how many people will love to be here, or their way of living is so different that
Mhm.
I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so blessed and so privileged to have the opportunity that I have in here.
Absolutely.
And
Mhm.
I'm not saying they're less or anything, but it just opens your lens or your mind to see the world, the real world.
I feel like for me, it built such just an enormous compassion for humanity.
Right.
Just being able to go to places where people were so open, so humble, so selfless, and willing to go out of their way, not because they expected something in return.
No.
We had already received a service from them, we had already paid them, there was already an exchange there, but they were willing to go above and beyond just to make sure that we felt safe,
Right.
just to make sure that we were okay,
Right.
like beyond the expectations. And I really saw this in Asia, especially Vietnam, is that that is just their way of life.
The way of loving
Yeah.
human, other cultures, that also helped me a lot to
Mm-hmm.
understand, because I was like, Thailand for me and Vietnam was a big different culture wise, and the language barrier,
Oh
it
my
was
gosh, yeah.
huge,
We did not learn Vietnamese or Thai.
No,
It was hard cuz when we went to Europe, I was able to pick up some Italian, some or even
right,
when we went to
Portuguese,
Portugal.
Portugal,
Yeah, we went to Portugal and I was able to pick up a little bit of Portuguese, and then I was able to pick up a little French. And Italian is a lot easier because it's similar to Spanish. But when I went to Vietnam and we went to Thailand, talk about a language barrier. And now we're put in that situation of what people feel when they come to here to our country and there's a language barrier. Like, I literally put myself in situations just to feel like, wow, like how just vulnerable we are. And we live in a country where we are so privileged in so many ways, and now I'm putting myself in this very vulnerable environment and situation just to feel, just to
right,
know, like, wow, like now I'm the outsider. You
right,
know, that is. I love that you said character building, because that is true character
yes,
building. Like,
yes,
you are being put under
yes.
pressure. You
I
know.
every time I travel, every year I travel to a new country, I came back differently. I don't know if you
Mm-hmm.
experienced that, but I became different.
Yeah.
I noticed a huge shift
Mm-hmm.
in my own character.
In our
In
spirit.
my way to resilience was different
Mm-hmm.
too. I was able to go through difficult times, difficult decisions,
Mm-hmm.
how to go through difficult decisions that I had to make, as a business owner, as a as a yeah, as a business owner, like, how am I capable to do this?
Mm.
I learned that if you put yourself in harder situations in life, you become stronger every
Out of
time
your comfort
of
zone.
your comfort zone, and
Yeah.
you start your mind develops this character that's very awesome,
Mm-hmm.
that you become very good at problem solving,
Yeah.
very good
Yeah.
at problem
Mm-hmm.
solving. And that's what we do also as a teachers, as a person that we
Yeah.
work in education. We try to help kids to find their own solutions for their own problems by guiding them,
Absolutely.
and
We're not teaching them how to think or right how to be. We're teaching them to critically think for themselves
self.
and to problem solve,
Yes,
right?
and what would be the best option for this scenario, and for any scenario they're
Mm-hmm.
going through or they're happening, or you're trying to teach them.
Exactly.
And for me, that also built that,
Mm-hmm.
ways to, okay, we need to do this. Our flight got canceled. What are we gonna do next? We need to do this. So your problem solving gets on,
Yeah, it's
like,
on alert.
and it's on a sharp going
Yeah,
on.
yeah. I get.
We
Mm-hmm.
don't have a hotel tonight because they canceled it last minute. What are we gonna do? We have all our luggage. We're in a different country with different language. We don't know if we're gonna get robbed right here, like, waiting for our Airbnb in the middle of the park because they don't give it to us until like 3 p.m. and we're carrying all this luggage.
Yeah.
And you have to be
Very
very
uncomfortable.
good at problem solving,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you also have to have patience. And that's, like, I think that was my challenge too.
The remaining calm. One of
You
the things you
know?
mentioned earlier is that we were talking about what travel has really just summarizing like what it's taught us. One of the things you said that I highly resonate with is you said travel has helped me to remain calm under pressure. It's helped me to remain calm under difficult and uncomfortable situations.
Situations.
It's like that we don't have any control over. You know what? Okay, well, our flight got canceled. Like, what we have one choice, and our choice is, we can choose to react to that, and then it becomes this trickle effect of going into a negative state of mind, or we can choose the path of remaining calm and surrendering to the
Right.
moment. I mean, you and I had
Right.
a situation that was very hard. I want to say probably the hardest situation that we've come across, circumstance that we've encountered in a travel, was Vietnam. When we went to Vietnam and we apparently didn't do the necessary research, that
we needed a visa if you're traveling from Thailand.
Yeah.
Because we were in Thailand, and then you needed a visa if you're traveling from Thailand to Vietnam. If we were traveling probably from United States, it was different.
Yeah.
I think. Or I don't remember something
Well, I
like
think
that.
my brother, I was like, I told, because my brother went to Vietnam and I was like, hey, how come you didn't tell me you needed a visa? He's like, I thought you knew. And I was like, no, I didn't. But these are just the things you learn, you know?
And we needed, so we were stuck in the airport for hours, and we had to really push ourselves to get a visa.
Yeah.
Because our flight was gonna leave like in 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah.
So we were like rushing it to get the visa, and the language barrier was huge to me because a lot of people didn't.
They had to write things down for us in English.
And then we had to do the translation, and they something like we're like what, and we're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to tell you.
And then remember we had to get visa pictures like you would like a passport,
and we had
to go to the police station, and then
so that was a whole mess.
Oh man.
I literally just wanted to give up that moment.
I remember you
I'm
said
like,
that.
should I just go back? Like, should I just don't go to Vietnam and just, give up? Go back to, USA? But something in me was like, you have to go through the process and then just take care of it and do it. But it's just it's so hard to do hard things for humans. We're so programmed to be comfortable.
Yeah.
That
we are.
If they put
Have
us
a
in
routine.
And if they put us in a hard situation, we want to escape.
Yeah.
That's the reality. We always want to escape from that responsibility of doing hard things. And that's what traveling has made for me. Like when I have a problem at work, my work, I'm like, I just need to sit down and take care of it right now. I'm not going to wait for tomorrow to do it. I need to get it done today.
Yeah.
And that also comes with a lot of power will, and also, program your mind to do things that moment because you don't have another choice. You have to do it now. And for me, traveling has done that to me too, where my mind is so programmed to take care of things now. Like I'm not gonna wait until 7 o'clock.
Yeah, leave things for tomorrow.
My mind is so programmed because I have endurance from all the travelings that I have done, that I'm like, okay, I have a problem. I need to take care of it. They need this paper by 10. I need to do it now. Like it's my priority to do it now. And that's what traveling has made for me. Like I don't have another choice. I have to just stick with it and suck it up.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you have to go through the motion. And there's a lot of situations that we got very uncomfortable. I was very uncomfortable in a lot of situations. And even traveling with other people that you are like, oh my goodness, I can't stand this person.
Yeah.
And you have to go through that, also the process like what's going on, like why we cannot get along with this girl or this guy, and you're kind of like trying to process that too, what are you things that you need to work on, or even if your personality starts shaping also when you're traveling to so many countries, to see what you don't like and what you like. For me it's like, okay, I don't like this, I like this, I don't really like that. I'm open to try it, to do it, but I don't know why I don't like it, and you start questioning, why do I don't like that?
Why does that
why
make me
I
feel
don't like that
uncomfortable?
food? Or
why
I'm not open to try that? Like, what is it my own beliefs, or and that's also another one for me that has opened that why not to try it,
One of the things that also comes to mind in our journey traveling and finding ourselves through travel and just waking up different aspects of ourselves, right? Like the safetyness, or the safety with ourselves, the safety that lives within ourselves. And that reassurance, like you're going to be okay, and being your own nurturer, that there isn't, I mean, yes, I traveled with you, but at some point you had to tell yourself like, I'm gonna be fine. You had to calm your mind. We had each other that we could tell each other. But it's a little bit different when you are traveling with friends and you are traveling with a partner, especially when you're traveling with a male.
Oh yeah.
And it's two women,
Yeah.
two single women that are traveling through Europe. Um, Two single women that were traveling through. Well, I was single and still and when we went to Asia, but we were still alone. And yes, we reassured each other, but also like we had to be our biggest, you know, like we had to be our nurturers.
Right.
We had to nurture ourselves. When I remember you mentioned like, oh, I miss family and things like
Oh
that.
yeah. You
You
become
know,
so
yeah,
vulnerable when you're so far away
very vulnerable.
because you start
Mm-hmm.
missing people. You start missing home because you're literally out of your comfort zone, out of
Yeah.
the regular things you do
Mm-hmm.
every day, you know?
Yeah, and sometimes depending on where you are traveling, you're not gonna have the same comfort food. A lot of the times, you're
No.
gonna not have like anything remotely close to what you're used to eating,
Right.
and you just
Or just
have
being
to be
comfortable.
okay
I mean,
with.
people that have been traveling to Europe, they know that most of the places that you
Mm-hmm.
stay don't have a AC.
Oh yeah, an air
And you need
conditioner.
to
Yeah,
suck it up.
yeah,
And guess what? You're going to be hot and you're going to be uncomfortable.
yeah.
When we went to Vietnam, the mosquitoes all over us and
Yeah, there's so like
super humid.
exactly, because we don't when we traveled together, we never stayed at resorts or anything like that. We purposely chose to stay in Airbnbs, because we wanted to be more connected to the people,
Right. The local
and
stuff.
the then go to the local restaurants
Hmm.
and connect with the local
Yeah,
people.
that's
And
exactly how
yeah,
you experience
mm-hmm.
culture.
Culture is
If
through
you
that,
go for the comfortable of
which
traveling,
is fine if
you that's
you have to know what kind of traveler you are.
why.
Yeah.
But if you really want to
Mm-hmm.
experience the culture, you cannot stay in a very comfortable also
Resort.
place.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're that type of traveler, it's fine.
Yeah.
But if you really want to know the culture, you need to go to the local stuff.
Yeah.
See how people really
Actually
live,
live.
not just
Uh-huh.
the fancy areas of Paris.
That's why I
Because
say, yeah.
people have a misconception that Paris is beautiful, but you only see the beautiful
Parts of Paris.
but you don't know that if you go this way, a little bit this way, and you can see a lot of things that they're not that beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Just
that's
like,
the part of being, a really true traveler.
yeah.
To know that there's places that are not going to be beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
and that's okay because that makes that place unique.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a reminder of ourselves too. We have our ugly stuff in
Our
ourselves,
shadows.
our
Yeah.
shadows, and then we also have our beauties
Mm-hmm.
in ourselves. That's
Our
how I
light.
see as a
Mm-hmm.
traveler.
Yeah.
That every place has their uniqueness. They has their own thing, their special thing,
Their own
and that's why
frequency
they
too.
make it so special.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because every time people ask me, "What is your favorite place that you have been, Anna
I
Karen?"
get
Like,
asked that too.
what is that most place that you are like, "Wow, I will love to come back,"
Yeah.
And there's a lot of places that I will love to go back, but I cannot say this is the place I want. This is my number one
Mm-hmm.
place because every single place that we travel has their own uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
It has their own special thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you every place that we did, it has something in my mind that
Yeah.
is so special for me. When we went to Belgium, just being in the what is it called, the downtown, and
Mm-hmm.
just sitting down there and eating a bagel or what is it called, that
Waffle.
waffle in
Yeah.
there.
Belgian waffle.
It was unique for me, the
Yeah.
experience. If you tell me about Paris,
Mm-hmm.
drinking coffee and
In
a
front of the Eiffel
croissant and then
Tower.
Eiffel
Yeah.
Tower, that was also special for me.
Yeah.
So every single place, every single country has a very unique memory in my
Yeah.
mind.
I love
When
that.
we went to Greece, when we went to Amalfi Coast,
The Amalfi
Italy,
Coast. Yeah.
it has their own uniqueness way.
Yeah.
When we were eating a very good pasta, and I was
Oh
like,
my
"Oh my
God,
God, this
we
is the
were.
best pasta I had in my
Yeah,
life."
I feel like for me, it's more of the what it taught me, what every
Yeah.
place has taught me. It's taught me something. Every single place that I've been to has taught me something very special that really expanded my consciousness and expanded my heart, and made room for more compassion and more love and more humility. And not only that, but I'm like, wow, I freaking did it. I freaking traveled to the other side of the world, and I've gotten to see so many beautiful countries, and I'm just this girl from Washington State. Like, I don't know, I'm just so proud, you know.
Right.
It makes me proud, and it's like a form of self-love that I give myself, you know,
Right.
by allowing myself to experience places like that,
Right.
beautiful places, because that is how I see myself.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot deeper for me too, and I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
it is for
Oh
you
yeah,
too.
for me it's
It's
very special.
very spiritual
It's
too,
very
you know?
special to know that I was able to do that. You
Yeah.
know, I want to keep doing it, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, the older you get, the more responsibilities you gain, and probably they stop you a little
Mhm.
bit from doing so much or for traveling so much.
Yeah.
But I still want to travel. You know, I
Mhm.
still want to know new places
Yeah.
because that's also part of me. You know, part of who I am.
Mhm.
You know,
Me too.
I love the experience of a new culture, a new
Mhm.
place, and I made that myself.
And the
It doesn't
food.
define me, but it's
Yeah.
something, you know, it's part of myself that I
Well,
love, you know, to
it's
do.
a the you know it doesn't, it's not our identity,
It's
right?
not my no,
It doesn't make us better, it doesn't make us more wise, right?
no.
Well, in a sense, I guess we have gained wisdom from
Yeah,
traveling, but you know, I feel like travel has been a tool for us. Like, we've used it as a tool to really expand our consciousness and just widen our perspective of the world. You
right,
know, it's not so black and white. There's so much more complexity to this experience than just what is in
right,
front of us and where we live. And I always say, you know, there's two types of travelers. There's the traveler, right? And then there's the vacationer,
right.
you know? And I feel like for us, you know, we are very much travelers,
Travelers.
you know? We kind of purposely would go places and get lost, you
Right,
know?
because I feel like doing by doing that, you are kind of searching for something.
Yeah.
When you are
For yourself.
are you lost?
Yeah.
You're kind of in the way of finding yourself,
Yeah.
you know? And I love that because you eventually gonna find what you're looking
Mhm.
for, and you will find it
Yeah.
because that's your own process,
Mhm.
your own journey, and
Yeah.
some people do it differently than us, you
Yeah.
know. And that's the beautifulness of being just unique, you
Mhm.
know. And I love that. There's this book that I love, and I it's called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I don't know if you
Oh, no,
haven't
I
heard it.
haven't heard it.
I really
Yeah.
recommend you to
But
read it.
I think I would love that because I'm always like learning about the ego construct and like
Yes.
how, you know, there is how breaking through the self,
Yes,
that there is no
exactly.
self.
So
Yeah.
this book talks about that.
Oh, really?
How can you break through uh, the beliefs that you have, or they
Yeah.
have shaped you through the years of your
Mhm.
life because your culture, your
Mhm.
family,
Experiences.
your own experience right now, you know. How can you break through those ideas that
Mhm.
are not probably yours, you know?
Yeah.
And I love that book, but I also love the concept that you can do that also
Mhm.
by traveling,
Yeah.
you know, because you break through so many things that you thought that you couldn't do.
Mhm.
I couldn't I never imagined myself actually booking a plane to Vietnam. Like
I never I
like
when I
I never thought that I was going to be doing that. Like I see these places, beautiful
I
places in a
know.
documentary in the TV, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. And then boom, you're
You're
there,
there.
and you're
Like,
like, oh my
it's
goodness,
like a timeline, like a timeline quantum
yes,
leap. At least that's how there is moments where we felt like that. We're like, what is even
yes.
happening?
Or
What
you
is
see
even
it in a
reality?
magazine, and you're
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh, I would love to go to Amalfi Coast one day, and you're like,
I'm
I'm
here.
here. And I went through all this to go to this beautiful place because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it was a very hard to get there.
I mean, I couldn't. There were so many times, Karen, and I told you this, but when I was in Vietnam by myself, and I'm like, what? Like, I would wake up, you know, in my Airbnb, literally by myself in Vietnam, the other side of the world. It took us like 24 hours, like, to get
Yes.
to, Thailand. And we were, at one point, we were like, Garen, like, I remember telling you, like, Garen, it's 23 hours of travel, girl, to get to Thailand. And, like, little us,
That was wild for
it's just
me.
mind blown. But, like, sitting there in Vietnam, waking up in my Airbnb, and I'm like, wait, where am I? Oh my God. Because you
Yeah.
can hear the people singing
Oh my
in the
gosh, at
little,
5 in
like,
the
like,
morning.
ah, like, I don't know, like all the movement and the songs and
Right.
then the music and how lively it is. And I mean, I
Well,
obviously, Vietnam has a special place in my heart,
right.
but it was just like, wow, like,
But
I'm
isn't that
here.
awesome though?
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful that you can actually say, I built this?
Yeah,
I
I created
built
this.
this character
Mm-hmm.
by doing this, because I remember when I went back by myself to Thailand because I had to stay one night.
That's right.
And I had
Yeah.
to book my
Mm-hmm.
hotel, and I had to get an Uber, and I had to just kind of plan my own way to
Mm-hmm.
the
Yeah, cause
airport.
she left Vietnam. So Karen left Vietnam. We were together in Vietnam, but she left and went back to Thailand
Thailand for
so
a
she could go
day.
back to the
To
U.S.
yes.
because we had round trip ticket
Hmm.
from Thailand.
Right.
So
So for me, that experience was also like, I am my safe person. I don't need a partner with me telling me, you need to do this, careful with this, close the door, close this, make sure you
mm-hmm.
have your wallet, make sure you have this,
Mm-hmm.
make sure you that. Because we're so used to and programmed to that. Then I'm like, I am safe, and I'm my
Mm,
safe person.
yeah,
I am capable to book a hotel. I'm
I love
capable to
that.
get a Uber.
Uh-huh.
I'm capable to sleep and close the door and, make sure nothing's gonna happen with me. I
Yeah.
even buy a pepper
Oh, did you
spray.
buy a
I
pepper
did.
spray? Yeah.
Went to the little store and I got
Yeah.
myself one. I even had like a fork next to my bed. I'm like, I'm prepared.
Yeah.
If something's gonna attack me, I'm gonna fight for my life. You know what I mean?
So
And it's so beautiful to be
yeah.
like, I am my
Yeah,
safe
you are that.
person.
Hmm. And you became aware of your surroundings, and it really is a moment of like you are your only person.
Yes. And that,
Hmm.
I feel like a lot of people haven't not experienced that. And I see it through the way they live their lives, or
Hmm.
they even talk about
Like
themselves. And
codependent.
I'm like,
Hmm.
you need to travel solo, or you need to just know yourself a little
Go
bit.
on your own. Go off on your own.
Experience
Hmm.
yourself a little bit by yourself,
Yeah. Yes.
because we
Yes.
are capable to do it.
I
And
love that you
if you're
said that.
so attached to people, guess what? You have something to work on.
Yeah. I love that you said go off on your own and experience yourself.
Yourself.
Yeah.
Experience who you are. And that helped me through my breakup with my partner, my ex-partner, or my partner.
Yeah.
That it helped me do that,
Hmm.
because I feel like if I would have be with him all this time, I was not
Mm.
capable to build
Do you feel
this
like
new Karen that I am.
Do you feel like there was a codependence
Oh
that you were
yeah. Oh
breaking
yeah.
through?
He was
Yeah.
taking care of everything,
Mm-hmm.
closing the doors, do this, checking my surroundings,
Yeah.
making sure my wallet was here. He was always reminding me.
Yeah.
So it creates instability,
Yeah.
creates insecurities, because
Yeah.
you always have that person reminding you
Gosh, yeah.
when you attach yourself
powerful.
from that partner, and you're actually building yourself or trying to understand who you are. You're like, I don't need this. It's myself. I
Yeah.
need to do this. I need to do this. I need to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful that to know that you're capable to do so many
Yeah.
things. So many things. In trouble.
Yeah.
In book a trip. You want to go to Italy, book that trip and go.
Just do it.
Don't think about it. Don't say, I don't know how to do it. I'm not going to have money.
No.
Oh, it's going to be so expensive. No,
Don't
it's
go
not.
Yeah. Don't go
Don't.
into
No, it's not.
that
It's
lack
cheaper
of.
to
Yeah.
travel in Europe than it's travel here in the United States.
Yeah. It's just we don't take the time, right?
To search.
We're so programmed. We have these misconceptions of traveling overseas, and it's just programming. That's all it is.
It
We're
is.
conditioned to think that something is hard and difficult because it is far away.
Right.
And
we don't like to do hard things.
Yeah.
That's our nature.
Yeah.
We are so
Yeah.
behind on
Well,
And
yeah.
you know, before
We're,
like that, I
as a
think.
society, I think we're very new to a lot of
Yes,
things.
but
Yeah.
I feel like society got so comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
We are living in a comfortable era
Mm-hmm.
where everything's so fast, so
Oh, the instant
that
gratification.
fast, right? And
Mm-hmm.
we are not want to put with a hard process of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And I see it with my friends. I mean, there's a few ones they have trouble a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a few ones they don't even go to Seattle because they're scared. They don't want to put the effort to do it,
Or like Mexico, yeah.
you know. And I'm like, there's so much to know and learn and experience in this
Mm-hmm.
world, and we're just stuck in the box, just living a 7 to what is it called, a nine to
Oh, like
seven,
a
nine
nine to
to five
five or
job.
8 to 5, yeah.
Right. And Monday to Friday, get the weekends.
Yeah.
And no, there's so much through
Yeah.
life. It's so many things to experience
Experience. I love
and to
that.
expand yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because there's so many areas of yourself that you don't know.
Yeah.
And traveling has opened that doors for me that
Yeah.
I was like, oh my gosh, I'm good at art. I love art. I can create art. I can do, you know,
Mm-hmm.
I could create my own space with all the experience that I
Yes,
had,
and you did that.
you
You
know,
built
a
a business
business with
inspired
all
by
my
all your
ideas that I
by all
have
your
travel,
travels.
or I will research little things about in a country that I was, like in Spain, how they do their own way of learning, how's their classroom set up.
I
And
love
I was
that.
like, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Oh, I will watch the kids walk around. Remembered that
Mm-hmm.
we saw kiddos
Yeah,
go to the
and
Picasso museum, and
oh
they were
yes, I
just
remember
doing
that.
art
Yeah,
in the middle of the, the plaza.
the
The
plaza. Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, that is beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm like, I want my kids to experience that, art or get dirty. Like, I want that for my kids.
yeah.
And
The different modalities of learning.
and
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that is so beautiful. I wish they can do that. You know, when we
Mm-hmm.
see kids in the trains, remember they
Oh
were
yes, by
traveling
themselves sometimes.
something, and I'm
A
like,
lot of kids we saw on the trains were traveling
I was
by
like, that's
themselves.
beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
because they're teaching them how to be so independent at that small age, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I feel like we can wrap it up there. We're on a good note to wrap up. So, what would you say to someone who is has been thinking of traveling, whether it's in the U.S. or outside of the country, overseas, especially women that are wanting to solo travel or just venture out. What would you say? Like, how do you start?
I feel like you should start here, like in United States first. Like,
Okay.
for me was New York first, and then Washington D.C., and then
Okay.
so I kind of like experienced that. If you don't have experience of traveling at all,
Mm-hmm.
or like even
Mm-hmm.
getting in a plane, that can be very hard to someone that just
That's
want to
true.
go 13 hours in a plane. That
Mm-hmm.
will be very shocking.
Mm-hmm.
So if you this is the first time you
Baby
going,
steps. I like that.
go first to, I don't know, if you live in Washington, go to probably New York.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's not very close but not too,
Yeah,
too
that's
far.
not too much of a shock.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then start but like by
Yeah.
there. I went to New York, I went to Miami or
Yeah.
something.
Where
And
there's
then
well also like the language, right? Because
right.
yeah, there's a common
Right.
language. Yeah.
And then if you know Spanish, I will say just go first to Spain.
I like that.
And if
Mm-hmm.
you know English, go to England, for example. Go to
Mm-hmm.
England, experience that country 1st,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you want, just go to Italy. Then
Then venture out. Mm-hmm.
And but I recommend just start. Yeah, do a little
Mm-hmm.
steps here and there. That's how I started.
Yeah,
I started little by little, like just here in the United States,
I
going to
did too.
Mexico,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'm like, okay, now I need to go far,
Yeah.
far away.
My first solo trip was to Mexico actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've solo hiked. I've gone on hikes by myself, and then I went to Vietnam and all that. But I also want you to share what are some tools that you use because you mentioned a book earlier.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned travel, and then I know that you're a reader too.
Mm-hmm.
So Do you want to share some of the tools that you use
Well,
that have helped you
if
along
you
your?
really love traveling, just search what country you want to visit.
Mm-hmm.
Just search. I mean, I like books. Yeah, I like traveling books,
Oh, okay.
and just get familiar with the country you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
Do research with their food. Um, what culture is, maybe the dress code, because
Oh, the dress code. Yeah.
Vietnam and Thailand, we
Thailand.
experienced that
We
there was a
couldn't go
dress
into,
code
yeah.
and a lot of temples that
We
we
couldn't
like.
go into a lot of their, because a lot of their temples are sacred. A lot of their sites are very sacred, and so we have to cover our shoulders. We have to cover our legs.
Right.
So you do have to do some level of research.
Research,
You don't have to do
yeah.
extensive research, but I feel like they're what is, do they have
The
a
currency money
yeah,
too.
currency, I was gonna say
It's
that,
a big one
currency,
too.
yeah, currency exchange, transportation. What's
Transportation's
their
a
main form of
huge one.
transportation? Because not a lot of places have Uber,
Yeah,
So
exactly. So experience, Google that, get books,
yeah.
YouTube it. There's a lot of resources
Mm-hmm.
now available in YouTube that you can just click and see a video of the places you want to visit.
Yeah.
Some of them are not that like 100% true,
Yeah.
but I mean they give you an idea of what it is
Yeah.
to travel to that place.
Also, one of the things that I learned too is make sure you research the airport. Like, what
Yes.
airport is it close to your
Yes.
Airbnb? How far is it from the
Yes.
main town? All of that was really big.
Yes.
And then one more thing too that I learned from you was that actually the details and the logistics of like where we're staying and how far are we from the airport.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
a lot of countries, especially countries in Europe, different countries in Europe have multiple airports.
Right.
It's not like here we have one airport in the Tri-Cities.
Right.
It's like they have multiple airports even in just within, a few cities or whatever, like far away from each other. And you have to make sure that you're going to
Close.
land in an airport that is close to the area
place.
that you want to
Right.
experience.
And you can do that by copying and pasting the
Yeah.
address and put
Mhm.
it there in the Google airport. So blah blah blah. How long is to this area, to this address, and then you
Yeah.
can search it that way.
Yeah, you definitely taught me
I'm
that.
very good
Mhm.
at detailing. Super good at like
Mhm.
detail. What is it called? Detail oriented. But I think it also helped me with that traveling.
Traveling, yeah.
Because I made mistakes, huge ones that cost me like money, and I'm like, okay, I need to pay attention what I'm doing.
Well, we missed our flight one time because we went to
Two
the wrong.
times.
Oh,
When
two
we
times.
went to Mallorca, Spain, and then when we went to Greece.
But the second time was because we went to the
Wrong.
we booked the wrong airport.
Yes, we went to the wrong airport.
We went to the wrong airport. Oh my god. Okay, we'll
But
leave on
good
that
thing
note.
it was like $64 the plane.
I know, but still, like, our freaking taxi cost us more than our.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's another thing you guys need to search. Like if you go to Greece, just put in your mind that the taxes.
Taxis.
No,
Uh-huh.
taxes are very
Oh,
high.
taxes are high. Yes, and
They don't have
taxis. The Ubers. Okay,
They don't have
but
Ubers in Greece.
oh, in
remember?
Greece they don't have Ubers. Yeah, they don't have that.
They only
form
have
of transportation.
taxis and they're
They only
very
have taxis
expensive.
and they're very expensive.
54
And,
euros.
Yeah. So, anyway, yeah. Travel has definitely been our tool, our form of just knowing ourselves a lot deeper.
Yes.
So, yeah.